Welcome, friends. Welcome to today's Reconsider It live stream. Best live stream you're gonna see all day. And here on this live stream, you are gonna get a very nice hour of some improvised live looping only vocals like what you're hearing right now. This is all vocals right now. We have got the foundations of a beat. I'm going to build up this beat some more over the course of the next hour, of course, with you. Gonna bring in the synth as well. We might even talk about stuff. Who knows what's gonna happen here in this exclusive studio session. It's called Tinker Time. My regulars know what it is. Speaking of my regulars, I see we already have the man himself gracing us here now with his presence. It's Corny! If you are new, to the Reconsider It live streams, welcome! You made the right decision joining us. We want you here. Friends, we are currently in a warm-up phase. We are just getting the blood flowing, getting ourselves situated, getting ourselves comfortable, feeling good. And here in this warm-up phase, I need to celebrate. I need to celebrate. Thank you for being here. Whether you are here with us live in the chat, whether you are here with us live but you are not in the chat, whether you are here with us after the live, you are with us on replay. However it is that you are here with us, thank you for being here. I am going to celebrate you at this time in this way. I have got my drink. I am going to count to 3, and I'm going to clink. You are invited to join the rest of us as we cheers along and celebrate our togetherfulness. And it all begins, my friends, on 1, the pure ecstasy of this togetherfulness. 2, man, the ecstasy buildup is fulfilled on 3. Clink. Cheers, my friends. Oh, that is good. Oh, man. Man, that's good. That's good. Please like this video. Please subscribe. Please share this video where it will be well received. Friends, I have some good news. What is the good news? I have good news. The good news, my friends, please make sure that you are ready for this. Please prepare yourself adequately. Become ready to receive this amazing good news, my friends, because we have got a Tinker stream on our hands, which is really good news. And here on this Tinker stream, my friends, I am going to begin as I often begin, which is with, which is with, which is with building up the percuss ion. Hence, I will hereby follow along in that established dominant pattern. And I hereby build up the percuss ion. There was a pretty awesome moment that just happened a moment ago. That you may or may not have caught. When I started to build up the percuss ion a little more, the first loop I went to build up, I started to do a little like sound, and then I had to sneeze, so I stopped recording and I sneezed. But in that split second, I went through so many thoughts. Because I had already pressed record, and I already done the first sound, and I'm like coming up on a sneeze, and I'm like, oh, it'd be so dope if I recorded the sneeze and then used it as a percussion sound. But then I was like, oh, but I don't know how it's gonna come out. I'm not sure if it's gonna really record properly. And oh, I shouldn't sneeze directly on the mic, that'd be bad. P.S. It would be all over my loopers as well. And so I'm like, oh. It was pretty dope. Ultimately, I went with not recording the sneeze, though I stand by that it could have been really dope to have a sneeze integrated into whatever I recorded. That's often the case if I'm beatboxing just like walking around, you know, not on the loopers, but just sort of do-do-do-do. I don't say do-do-do-do-do, I don't hum, I beatbox. And I usually keep it somewhat low because I realize that the people around me are not necessarily interested in hearing my mouth noises. I don't always do that. Sometimes I do it pretty loud. But, you know, I don't always want to hear somebody whistling walking down the hall. And I'm not alone in that opinion. It's like, hey man, that's pretty loud. Bro, that's a pretty loud. You don't have to be doing that for 4 minutes, a full symphony through your whistling. You are capable of walking down the hall without doing that. That is within your physical capabilities. And so when I do something like that, when I'm beatboxing, I'm not doing it like full volume. A lot of it is just like breath work, little small clicks. Whatever I can reduce the volume of, I do reduce the volume of. Anyway, I bring up the idea of me walking around beatboxing because when I do that, if I have to sneeze or some other like sinus, mouth, throat function, like hiccup, sneeze or hiccup or burp, or cough or something, or sniffle, or clear my throat. Things like that, things that I have to do. I love integrating that into the beat that I'm beatboxing. So that's why I was considering recording the sneeze, but I didn't want to sneeze directly on the mic. And I wouldn't have been able to take this off, you know, and go like this and record it over here. I wouldn't have had the time for that. It was a split second. Split second decisions. Making split second decisions. The man, Tone Smith, has been rewarded, been bestowed upon, has earned, has been blessed with the first chat of the stream to be shown on the screen. Talking about the slower beats per minute on this. Yeah, I'm not sure why, but in the past maybe week, I'm not sure, let's say week-ish, I have had a few slower beats per minute like this. To my surprise, I was like, what happened? How did this happen? Wire Baby says a very similar opinion. Op in ion. Very chill. Very chill. Cornish also making a similar comment. Hey, you know what occurred to me the other day? My regulars that go back, let's say over a year, more than actually, let's say over a year. You may remember when I used to do the Loops and Chill streams, which was unlike Tinker Time. Tinker Time, we hang out for, frankly, hour and a half, 2 hours. Just sort of 3 hours is the longest Tinker Time, I believe. It was like 2 hours and 56 minutes. It was something like that. Just short of 3 hours. Usually it's more like, an hour and a half plus or minus something. Sometimes we go over 2 hours. Anyway, a Tinker Time stream is really about like, we make a beat, but we take a while, just sort of like mosey about, sometimes talk about things. We bring in the synthesizer, we build it up. Sometimes I even remove a beat or remove a layer and remake it. Tinker Time is a lot more about like a hangout studio session, one beat for the whole time. That's Tinker Time. But the old type of stream I used to do called Loops and Chill. That was like a bunch of songs back to back, all improvised. So I would just do like, here's, let me quickly do a beat and just lay everything down, whoa, and have a whole beat and arrange it and everything with a beginning, middle, and end. Those were pretty cool streams, but there wasn't as much talking on those, and I wanted to introduce more talking, more of a hangout. When I first started streaming, I was like, oh yeah, this is like I'm performing at a venue, like I'm performing at some local bar or whatever. And the answer is, not as much. It's more like I'm just providing an avenue for you to have a good time. Less about like, here's my awesome song performed perfectly. It's just sort of a vibe, a hangout. That's what Tinker Time has evolved into. Now you'd be happy to know that I completely forgot why on earth I was talking about that. So that's great. That's good news. The other bit of good news, though, that everybody enjoys is that the has joined us. We are now Visio full. And further, I wish I could remember what I was going to say. Why did I go into that whole tangent about the Loops and Chill streams? Why did I bring that up? Oh, whatever. Here's an update, I suppose. For my regulars who are keeping up with the saga of me beginning to move into more DAW work, digital audio workstation, where you go and you work on your computer and you can arrange the music and do all the production and mixing and everything, rather than DAW-less, which is just hardware. So when I'm just using my loopers and synth and everything, that's just hardware, that's DAW-less. But some of my regulars know that I have recently been getting back into DAW work in addition to the looper and synth stuff. And more specifically, I'm taking the loops from my loopers that I make here on the streams. I'm moving those loops over to my workstation, my computer, and in a DAW, I'm using my loops. And my regulars know there's been a whole saga where I've had technical difficulties and it's been going on for a couple weeks. And yesterday I gave the update that I have had a successful DAW usage, and I even put together a test song that wound up becoming a real song. But yesterday, in yesterday's stream, I said that I had further technical issues because even though the song I felt was in pretty good shape, the video, suddenly that day, my video editing software just crashed and it wouldn't start, and I've been wrestling with that for like 3 days, 2 to 3 days now, however long it's been. And now since yesterday's stream, more good news. Video editing software is back online. This is great. And I already put together the video because it was, partially most of the heavy lifting was already done before it crashed. So I was able to pick up at a pretty good starting point. Had a lot of adjustments, but they were on the scale of minor adjustments. So even since yesterday's stream, I have put together the video. And right before this stream right now, I did another export of it. So immediately following this stream, I'm gonna go see what the shape of that video is. How's it looking? If I think it's done, if it's ready, I'm gonna upload it like pretty much right away. And that'll be this week's Monday stream or Monday video. If you're joining us live. Because it is Sunday. Right now it is Sunday, March 8th, 2026. Shout out to my people in the year 9113. So it being Sunday, as we record this, my regulars know that in addition to frequent live streams here on Reconsider Its Music Sketchpad, you get the live streams every Sunday and Tuesday, plus another bunch. Usually at least 3 or 4 streams per week. In addition to that, my regulars know you also get, every Monday, you get a video. That's some variation of more live looping stuff. Whether it's a piece, what would you say, a snippet? Oh, the word's escaping me. There's some good word I'm looking for. Not excision. A portion, whatever it is. A piece. Sometimes it's a piece of a Loops and Chill stream where you get one of those songs that I improvise. Other times it's me arranging a beat with a live performance, moving the sliders up and down and doing effects and things. But now I'm adding the new element, which is moving the loops into a DAW. And as I say, it might be released tomorrow, Monday. It's pretty close, so I imagine it will be released by then. I don't know for sure that the current draft that I just exported, that may or may not be the final draft. We'll see about that. It might be, because I've been working on it for a little bit. But there were a couple of things a little off in the most recent export, so probably it's another 2 or 3 passes and touches up and things. But I'll see. Anyway, by tomorrow, very likely. So what I'm saying is, if you are indeed joining us live, and for you, tomorrow is Monday, March 9th, 2026. Then you can, with a very high probability, I'm not going to say 100%, because who knows what other kind of software problem I'm going to have or hardware problem that I've been having for like a month straight with every step of the way. I'll be able to do it. How about that? That's really the proper implied aspect that I'm simply stating out loud. We'll have the video tomorrow. And it's a rap. So if you're a fan of my raps, you're getting some rap lyrics. This one, the song is called Come Play. That's what it's called. Come Play. I wrote this one a number of months ago. This was over the summer. This was like July or August or something when I wrote this one. And I wasn't sure what to do with it. I was playing with making it one of those videos where I do a live performance, and I move the loops up and down and everything. But I wasn't really landing on something that I liked exactly. I wasn't sure what to do. And so I figured for all this new DAW work that I'm doing, this would be a good test. Let me just play around with this old song. This wasn't necessarily going anywhere anyway. Let me play around with this, see if I can get the DAW working. And it did. The DAW got working. And I said, oh, why don't I just do this song now? And I was able to get a good arrangement that it worked out very nicely. Recorded some vocals. And now you're going to have a little rap song. It follows the same pattern as my recent rap tracks that I've released over the past couple of months, where it's basically just one verse. This isn't a full like verse, chorus, verse, chorus, verse. That's not what this is. This is just like a single verse. You're gonna get a verse tomorrow. Come play. I gotta get caught up on the chat here. There's a lot going on in the chat. This is why I like Tinkerstream so much. It was totally the right move, by the way, in my estimation. I'm open to your input on this, by the way, but was it the right move for me to pivot to this kind of live stream where it's more of like, it's just a hangout. This is just your favorite online hangout. That's it. And we get thoughtful here sometimes, but it's just hanging out to one beat for the hour and a half. Playing around with some synth stuff, you know. Was that the right move? Rather than keeping up the loops and chill where I perform a song and look at my performance, and then I perform another song, and I perform another song, and I perform another song. The feedback I get from you is that this one resonates better with you. This meets your needs better, being your favorite online hangout. Looking at the chat here, getting caught up. What's happening here? Cornish says, I'm not always in the mood to jam myself, but I like listening to everyone else's stuff. I'll totally agree with that. I'll even put that one on the screen. This one's a hard agree. A lot of my days, my regulars know that we often talk about the YouTube community, or communities, plural. That we have the YouTube communities of musicians, hardware musicians, DAW-based musicians. We got a lot of both. I am now becoming a bridge. I'm one of the only rappers. I'm not the only one. There are other rappers. But I am one of the only rappers in our YouTube community. Anyway, my regulars know that we have our YouTube communities of musicians. We hang out in each other's live streams, all of this. And so what Cornish is saying here, this is very much my day-to-day. Like pretty much every day at this point, some significant portion of it, I am in somebody's live stream. There's usually somebody streaming at any given time. Not always. And it does make me sad when there's nobody streaming. But usually there's somebody streaming most of the day, most days. And so a lot of my time, frankly, day to day, is just spent hanging out in other people's streams. And so as Cornish is saying right here, by the way, if you don't know Cornish, Cornish is one of the guys in our YouTube community. Cornish is a hardware musician, makes a range of synthy, usually has a good patience to it, a lot more patience than my music. My music is like the very impatient side of things. Cornish is generally very, very patient. And good vibes on the Cornish side. I don't want to say just ambient, because there's a lot of other stuff that goes on. I don't know the name of the different genres. What would you say, like down-tempo? And there's sometimes like some lo-fi aspects, some trip-hoppy aspects. Cornish to Page is dope. But yeah, I spend a lot of my time listening to other people, just like Corners is saying right there. I'm just hanging out in everybody else's streams. That's my favorite online hangout. So the least I can do is give you your favorite online hangout. Vicio says, hey man, you need to make more videos. Vicio just checked out a song of mine called Why Hello. Why Hello. That's an old rap I did. That's a one-verse rap. I'm thinking about seeing if I can quickly pull up the link and throw it in the chat here, which I might do. Normally I don't keep the YouTube stream open while I'm streaming, so I have to take a second to pull it open here, make sure it's on mute. I gotta go. I have a playlist. This is for Vicio, but it's also for anyone else. It's for you. I have a playlist that is my music videos. Let's see if I can find it. Where is it? And the song that where is it? There it is. I got the playlist here. I found it. And if you're following us after the stream, I'm going to put this in the chat right now. You can still follow, you can still see it if you're watching us after the stream. It still comes through in the chat in real time for you. As I always say, you should be consuming the chat There you go. I put it in the chat. You should be consuming the chat as part of the stream. Everybody who participates in the chat, that's part of the experience. And even if you don't participate in the chat, which is totally fine, most people who watch this stream do not participate in the chat. Most are either live but not in the chat or watching afterward. So most people don't put in the chat. But you can still watch the chat because it's still relevant. There's a lot of stuff that goes on in the chat that I don't call out. Anyway, the song that Vicio is talking about, it's in this playlist that I just put into the chat. And by the way, for Vicio, if you want more videos, there you go. There's a whole playlist. I don't know how many. I should have checked how many are in there. I already closed the tab. Let's see, how many videos are there? 14. This isn't all of my music videos, but this is, the ones that I would suggest if you're looking for my music videos. I'd be like, start here. The one at the very top, the song at the very top of this playlist called Did You See It? That's a really good one I recommend. Another really good one that I recommend with all of my recommend-full juice. I have like a reservoir of recommend-full juice, which is what I use to recommend things with. So another recommendation I have is that has arrived. So you should go like consume all of the Victor goodness. So yeah, music videos. The one at the top, Did You See It? That is my most recent, like, full rap song. My most recent, like, okay, I'm gonna really write a whole song here. That I released in, I think, 2021, and I haven't written anything formally since. I've only had these little, like, verses here and there, which I like. Cornish is talking about our hardware jam. That's another part of our YouTube community, if you're not familiar with that. There's a YouTube page you can look up called Hardware Jams. And that's like a weekly live stream on Mondays where they have a challenge for everyone in the Hardware Jam community. And there's I don't know how many, probably a couple. Is it a couple thousand? That's probably too much. I must be overestimating. But there's a lot of people that are in the Facebook group for Hardware Jams. And every week there's a challenge, like make a song that sounds like this, or that, you know, is inspired by this idea, or has this limitation on your hardware. Some kind of challenge every week. And that's what Cornish is talking about right now. He says this weekend's challenge would be good for you. The challenge, wasn't the challenge something like, how does, like the feeling of spring or something? And then also something about a 303? I just looked at it like an hour ago, or I guess an hour before the stream started. So I'm not sure what it is. There's a lot of awesome discussion here in the chat, by the way, which is like 10 or 15 minutes ago. So if you are watching the chat, it's, you know, a little bit ago. If I can be within the 5 to 10 minute range behind the chat, I'm in pretty good shape. That's a good delay for me. If I'm talking about other things and going off on my thoughts, I'm like, well, let's talk more about then I get 5-10 minutes behind the chat and all this. But there's a lot of cool discussion around music, being into music. Wire Baby says, I'm looking forward to that DAW track. Yeah, it's not bad. The original sample I used from the looper I made is, there's some, what do you call? Oh, what's the word? Like when you get crackling because it was too loud, not overdrive or override. Distortion, I think is the word I'm looking for. There's distortion from too much, too high volume input. So one of the source wave files was a little off. But, if you're down with my, like, weird crunchy style, you might just think it's part of what I meant to do, which it is not. But you'll hear it anyway. Cornish says, hey man, get out of the way. Wire Baby's gonna have the winning track tomorrow. Or do you mean, did he win last week? Wire Baby's really good, by the way. If you don't know Wire Baby, that's like, get ready for a thorough experience of creative inspiration. This is like no joke territory. Where's my siren that I can just put one of those things that's like, alert, alert, we are being serious at this time. Check out Wire Baby's channel. As I continue to get caught up on the chat here, and I'm like 10-15 minutes behind, I just found out that John Paul has joined us. There's a mention of Popcorn Night in the chat. That's another part of our YouTube communities. If you're new, that's all we're talking about here. We got the page Symptoms of Reality that I talk about often on my streams. Symptoms of Reality is a nexus for our YouTube communities. There's a lot of overlap. Symptoms of Reality is pretty big, actually. And we're talking about Popcorn Night here. And there's a mention of the Popcorn Night after party, which was really dope. That was really dope. This is what Tone Smith did. That's what Victor here is referring to. Right. That's what Victor's referring to. And Tone Smith, this is who we're talking about here. Tone Smith's page is Upstate, Downstate. Another good one to check out. Upstate, Downstate. Another good hardware vibe with some singing as well. We got some vocals in Upstate, Downstate. Sometimes rather moving, in fact. Good hardware sounds. Blurring a few different genres. So last week, or I guess it was just 2 nights ago. Oh man, it was not last week. It was just a day and a half ago. It was like, what, 36 hours ago? Is that right? Wow, yeah, 36 hours ago about. Not exactly, a little off from that. But Tone Smith did a stream after Popcorn Night, and it was really dope. I was like, oh, this works so well. Oh, this is so perfect. It was like totally blew my mind. It was like Popcorn Night after party. Oh my goodness. That's muy brillante. That is a very good thing. So I was mostly lurking. I was away for keyboard for most of it. But that was dope. And as Tone Smith says, you can always go check it out, even if you weren't part of the exclusive experience of being part of the live. That's what's exclusive nowadays, by the way. If nobody has revealed that to you, the exclusive part is being there for the live, because everything's recorded. So I don't mean to be, a braggart. I do not mean to brag too much here, but I was part of the live. I was in the exclusive few. The very exclusive few people who were there for it. I was there. It's an exclusive group of which I am a part. But you can check it out anyway at Upstate, Downstate. Victor knows what's up. And I totally should not have had a whole saltine right here before I started talking on the mic. But I did. And you get to experience that if you are part of the exclusive group experiencing this live. But Victor agrees. He's like, oh man, after parties, forget it. That's the place. I'm happy to say I've caught up with my own link that I put in the chat 15 minutes ago. That's good. And if you do want to manually type out the URL from reading it on the screen, here it is. I realize this may be very, very helpful for you. You probably want to manually type out a web address like this, rather than just clicking the link that I put into the chat and I've pinned in the chat. So I'm here for you. I'm here to meet your needs by having this giant web address that you have to manually type out. As I continue to get caught up on the chat from 15 minutes ago, I was delighted to find and discover Afterlife. And that delight that erupted in me, it remains with me to this day. I have so much delight at this time. You can see the delight on my face, on my facial expressions. It's very delighted, as you might say, to use the way English works. You would say that my facial expressions look delighted, which I think is accurate. So much delight. Probe says Tone should just do like a rewind after party. All these ideas. This is what's cool about our communities, is that we really connect with each other. We're actually here for real. That's what the cheers moments are about, by the way. When we do these cheers togetherfulness moments, that's about reinforcing for you in a physical way that you feel with your body. Like you literally reach over with your hand and grab a drink and you drink it with the rest of us. That is you reinforcing that we're doing this together. That it's a real togetherfulness. Tone says, I very much like that idea a lot. That's a direct quote. I'm not going to show the chat on the screen, but that was a direct quote. That's his words. P.S. I'm being sarcastic. Those are not his words. But Tone appears to be considering the idea of some kind of greatest hits. And maybe not just popcorn night. Maybe it could also be like a hardware jam, greatest hits. Man, this is great. Are we bearing witness to some kind of cool new stream that we're going to have? This is awesome. I'm just getting caught up on the chat from 10, 15 minutes ago. Looks like about 10 minutes ago. Tone says maybe the monthly after party. I'm still getting caught up on the chat here. Tone is not saying that he's going to do an after party immediately following popcorn night. He's talking about more of a new idea here, that maybe we'll have a monthly after party show, maybe the first Friday, and do the previous month's favorite jams in chat. Dope. Now, I didn't get caught up on the chat yet, but if First Friday means like following Popcorn Night. That would be really dope. You know, that would be. I think Tone might have an intuition for this already, and I'm just getting caught up. But that would be like a good community service type of stream. The stream that you do because other people asked you to do, not because you thought of it yourself. That's the kind of stream that'll last because people want it. You're responding to a demand rather than, you know, trying to shoehorn your product into the market. Which a lot of artists don't understand. Because artists are usually not business people. Those are almost diametrically opposed skill sets. The skill set that you need, the skill set and intuition that you need in order to be an artist, the sort of like motivation, the life goals, everything that makes you be an artist, including your skills and your knowledge and all of that, that is almost completely separate on a Venn diagram from the skills and the motivation and the lifestyle and the goals and stuff that drives someone to be a business person. Artists are usually not business people. What this person is, or okay, did you catch the word usually? Artists are usually not business people. In fact, the artists that are business people are usually the ones that you have heard of. Because they know how to do networking and they know how to get their music out there and they know how to work within the system, so to speak, while being an artist. And that's pretty rare. And it exists, but for many artists, that's a mysterious mystery that they just goes their whole life and never solved. It's like, why is this not catching fire and everyone loving it and spontaneously? It's like because there's a business side. That's why. I see we got some nice cheers going through the chat here. Victor, of course, making the very accurate what would you say, portrayal of what we do every time that there's a cheers moment, when we get all togetherful and we ritualistically remind ourselves that we really are actually doing this. I do say something just like this, just like here, this thing that Victor's saying. Pretty much exactly that. I see Cornish has the med cheers icons. Now that's really the way to do it right there. I gotta even look at those more closely. Like, this is a different drinks there. A beer and like a whiskey and what is that? A cocktail or something? I'm not much of an alcohol person. Can you believe that? Not like absolutely never ever ever I refuse. Like, it's not like against some principle of mine. But I'm just not really into alcohol. I usually don't feel good physically. I could have like a drink. But if I drink enough, after one drink, I would be pretty like, tipsy maybe. I would usually have like a wine, a red wine, a Cabernet is my first choice for a drink. But if I have more than just one drink, I'm just gonna feel bad the next day. Even if it's not a full hangover, I just feel like, a little cloudy. My body feels kind of gross. I have to make sure I drink a lot of water if I drink alcohol. Like in real time, that is. It's like, oh, here's my drink of wine. Oh, what a delicious drink of wine. Now let me have like twice as much water. But I don't really drink a lot. Wine would be my jam. red wine. If I had beer, it would be a dark beer. It would be a stout or a porter. Those would be my first choice for a beer. And I probably would have, a beer. If I was at some show, I might have 2 beers. You might even catch me having 3 beers. If I were at a show, like a live, music show, when I used to play. Oh, man. Did I just fall through a nostalgia trap door in the floor? Oh, no. Oh, no. Am I going to spend like an hour now talking about old shows I used to play? Oh, back in my day, I used to play shows at the local bar. Back in my day, I used to play shows at the local bars. And it would always be a show with 3 or 4 other artists, or acts, I should say. 3 or 4 other acts. And we'd always be hanging out before and after. And in that setting, if there's 5 acts and I went on second or third, I would probably have a drink or 2 afterward while I still hung out for the final 2 acts. Everybody gets, 20, 30 minutes or something. But if I went on 4th or I went on 5th, I probably wouldn't have anything to drink at that show. I usually would not drink before performing. I probably have more than 0 times, but that would not be a pattern. These days, I don't really perform live, like at a venue. I just live stream, which is so much easier. Oh my goodness! I don't have to move all this stuff around. I can take as long as I want. Hey, I'm gonna stream for an hour and a half. Oh, I feel like being on for another half hour. I can do that. Oh, that was a really dope performance. Did anybody catch it on your camera with really bad audio and like some person in front of you with their hat going woo and all that? Did anybody catch that? Oh, you did? Can you send it to me? Okay, cool. Thanks. I never got it. No, if I do a live stream, it's recorded. It's like automatically recorded if I do some really dope stream one day. Wow, that stream was really good. That was a particularly good stream. Cool. It's recorded. Now I can share it. It's like, there are absolutely advantages to performing live, like people right there in front of you. But I'm going to be real with you. I know you're watching right now. I'm still connecting with you. I don't need you to be physically there. I don't need to be physically there with you. I'm still connecting with you right now. So there is still I think an overall win in the live stream category compared to performing live. Would I perform live again? Yes, totally. Would I go back to performing, a lot like I used to? Not with my loopers and stuff. This is too much gear for that. I get invited to some kind of like festival where I can set up and play for an hour or play for 2 hours. Maybe. Okay. Yeah, I'll think about that. But not this, I'm not going to set all this up for a 20-minute show. Get out of here. I might bring 1 looper, though, and do a condensed looper show for that. I would also perform more if I got back into rap at all. I do think it would be cool to be the rapper or a rapper. I don't necessarily need to be the only rapper, but to be a rapper in some project with some other people. Because even though I can sit here and do these loops and things, I don't claim to be the dopest producer around. I would love to work with dope producers or a band. People who are really good at their side of things. And then I just sort of, hey, I'm here too, I'm rapping. I'd be cool with that. That's what most of my music projects were. Most of my rap projects. regarding this new chat, or not chat, sorry, this new stream that Tone is inspired to explore further. Tone says, yeah, man, I'm definitely all about trying to listen to what other people give me as feedback and do a blending of that with what I'm trying to do. Say, I knew Tone understood that kind of stuff. Tone is a giant. Oh, another thing I may as well say again, because it's brand new. It's brand new. A couple streams ago, Jack, another one of our community members, Jack brought up an idea that I think is confirmed. We likely will do the following thing. This is a new thing for the whole Reconsiderate space. And that is some kind of community remix event where I'll take the loops from some beat that I made on some live stream, and I'll make those loops available in my Discord. I'll make them available as WAV files, and then whoever wants to jump in can take the WAV files that I make here and then make your own remix with it. Jack came up with that idea. I put it out in the Discord. There was like 4 or 5 people who said they might be interested. I think that's enough interest as far as I'm concerned. So likely that'll happen at some point, but no timelines on that at all, just at some point. You can ask me for an update on that at any time if you want. We still have a final loop to do here. I'm still trying to get caught up on the chat here. We're talking about how Panda spins the wheel. If you don't know Panda's another, let's say, like, community leader of our YouTube communities. Panda is a prominent character. And when he does streams, he'll spin a wheel of, is it previous hardware jam submissions? Is that what he does? But he'll just play random songs from people. I don't know what he uses to generate the wheel, though. Victor says, oh wait, is there a clink moment coming? There will be, when we do the closing cheers. And there will definitely be a closing cheers, because we're about an hour and a half in, and I still need to make this other loop. I'm currently not running off of the stream, but it's also probably not going to go for another 5 hours. So there will be a closing clink coming. Oh, I'm getting so caught up. This is so good. I'm almost caught up. Oh, this is so exciting. There's only a few chats left. Oh, good. I got caught up. This is great. Time to build the final loop here. My regulars know that we have a variety of thoughtful topics that come up here on Tinker Streams. We got some Tinker topics. A few streams ago, I listed them out just to sort of put them out there. I'm still building the list. I'm likely going to be revising the video descriptions in the future, in future streams, that is. The video descriptions of future streams. But of that list, sports is not one of them. I don't think I've ever once talked about sports on a live stream. Maybe I did. It's not impossible. But I would not readily imagine the situation where it would have come up. However, there is a discussion right now that Probes is having regarding cricket. I never knew cricket was a thing until I lived in Sydney, Australia, and they like cricket there. I didn't realize that one cricket game can go on for like 3 days or whatever. I mean, I don't know the details, but something like that. And as Probes is saying here, Probes is saying in this region that there's some cricket ground that supports 132,000 people. What? That is bonkers. That's so many people. That's like way more than 100. That is so much more than 100 people. Probe says, or I may as well put this on the screen here. Probe says cricket is the second most popular sport in the world. I believe it. I believe it. As an American, as a United States person, me, I do have a bit of the United States blinders that I'm most aware of what's happening here in the United States, and that's not the limit of what I'm aware of, but it's the summary of my focus, let's say. So until I had lived in Sydney, I had no idea that cricket was even a thing. And yet, as Probes indicates here, it's gigantically popular, just not big in the United States. Wire Baby is heading out. Cheers, my guy. Have a nice dinner. Corner says he's watching Extreme Knitting. Now, I don't know if you're serious about that. It would not surprise me at all to learn that there is such a thing as extreme knitting. I'd be like, I believe it. I'm ready for that very quickly. And I know that knitting and crafts are popular. Like, they are increasingly popular. So I'm ready to believe you that there's extreme knitting. I have definitely seen some not... How would you describe this? Some sports that are jokes but like for some reason people are actually doing them. Like, have you seen what is it called? I forget what it's called. Dang. But it's some kind of like slap competition where you have two people. They get up there, they just, one of them stands there and patiently waits for the slap with his or her hands behind their back. And then the other one, gets the chance to wind up and just really let him have it with a slap. One big-ass open hand slap. And people are coming in there. They're not making it a slap. They're coming in with their hand behind it. They're doing more than just a slap. I don't know how much the referees are catching. But the slap, I don't know what it's like a whole thing. There's a whole organization that does this. And I found it on Instagram. Okay, it sounds like we're getting some agreement here. Tone and Probe sounds like you're familiar with this. But yeah, as Tone and Probes are saying here, that it's just like all you're doing is hurting yourselves. Like there's no sport. Like you're not like getting in shape. You're not like, well, I box, but I am in extremely good shape, and you better never start a thing with me. Like that's one of the reasons to box, or two of the reasons to box. There's all these other benefits. I play football. Yeah, I might get some injuries, but I'm actually in very good shape. I'm very strong. If I'm, one of the linemen, very strong. Otherwise, maybe I'm very good at running, and my cardiovascular is outstanding. But what are these slap sports people? What would be the word you'd say? I can believe that they might have like the real powerful slap. I'm not challenging that. I'm sure they do. But I mean, the injury to... I'm trying to do a cost-benefit analysis here. That's what I'm trying to do. You participate in this slap league, and you're just going to get hit a lot. By whom? Is it going to be just a couple light taps? No. It's going to be with a lot of other big-ass people. You're going to get hit a lot. You're going to stand there and put your face up to get hit a lot. And you're going to be trying hard to not fall down. You're going to be standing there and your goal will be to get hit a lot. Like, that just doesn't... The cost-benefit analysis of that, man, that seems like something that might be fun or funny. You do that when you're 20 years old and you've been, at the keg party too long, and you and your friend are going to do that to see who can stand up the longest. Like, that's basically all that is. I saw another one the other day, and it's eluding me with this other extreme. Corner says we got extreme knitting, but then we also have extreme ironing. Again, I wouldn't be surprised. Knit pants at 50,000 feet. That's good. There was another extreme sport like that I forget, but I wanted to bring up here. You know what I do like? And as soon as I say this, you're going to be like, oh yeah, totally. What I do like is watching videos of what? What am I going to say? We're talking about extreme sports. What am I going to say in terms of what I watch videos of on Instagram, perhaps? Yes, you got it right. Parkour. Doing extreme parkour. It's cool as hell watching some parkour person like run up to a building and just literally climb the side of the building. It's like, how? Yeah, I guess there's a little ledge there. How are you? Whoa, how are you? They got like incredible finger strength. They get all the way to the roof. What? Or They're doing these like jumps and flips and things and running around. Parkour is dope. And you know those videos where somebody is on the top of, you know, a 50-story building or a 100-story building, and they leap between the buildings, or they do some crazy stuff like this. That's like, no, don't do that for the clicks and video. No. We don't need to see that, my man. You do not need to let your testosterone push you to the edges of human achievement in that particular manner. Corner says, hey man, if you want to talk about some sports, let's get into it. I watch boxing every day. Every day, wow. I watch martial arts of some form often, but I wouldn't say I like sit down and formally study a given art every day. Yeah, boxing's no joke. Boxing's not something that like everybody intuitively knows how to do. You're not just standing there and throwing punches. There's so much. You have to be so focused in order to box well. You have to be so able to read the other person in order to box well. You got to have a lot of experience with a lot of different people in order to box well. Among boxers, that is. You know, if you're working with someone who is like telegraphing every little thing they're going to do with like literally full seconds of wind up or what have you, or other telegraphing. Yeah, there you can handle that, but anyone to be trifled with, kind of like Cornish says, I like old boxing, but not crazy about modern boxing. Probe says, parkour is cool. Yeah, it is. Probe says, I like parkour because they only risk injury to themselves. That's legit. I never heard anybody say that, but I agree. I like how that lands as soon as I hear it. That's what a lot of people get wrong, unfortunately, when they talk about, let's say, freedoms. It's like it stops being a freedom when you infringe on someone else. And so similarly, if there's any kind of like activity, that should be certainly never any concern for anyone else. If you're doing an activity that infringes upon others, that's where it starts to push the boundary. Unless that's the point of the sport, is to hit the other one, to incur damage upon the other one. Tone coming through with the award-winning pun. Cornish is ready to bring through some some knowledge here. You might not have realized, but you are in the presence of a boxing connoisseur. And so Cornish rather, put this chat here. He says, all right, listen to this. Here's a great boxer. Also, Cornish would not leave you with only one example like that. Cornish was like, listen, man, I'm going to give you more than one. Here are some more names. And so you get a lot of good boxing starting ground if you are new to the idea of boxing and you want to get into some classics. Who are the boxing greats? Who led the way? Who paved the road for these modern boxers? Somebody tunes in to my live stream right at that second, and I'm like, who paved the way for these modern boxers? They're like, yo, he's talking about beatboxers. Wrong. We're talking about boxing. Shout out to my people in the year 4782. As we have continued discussion in the chat. The man probes, of course, pushing us in the direction of the transcendent, which is something we can generally count on the man probes to help us do. And I have a comment about this. My comment is the following. That probes is of course correct here. If we talk about why are combat sports entertaining, like boxing or other things like that, even rugby came up in the chat. Combat sports or contact sports or martial arts or this slap competition, whatever it's called that I was talking about earlier. Why are those things entertaining? Probes is of course correct here to insinuate how, you know, there's something dark about humans that's there in us. There's something there in you that responds to something vicious or to something, let's say, dominating. What is it in you that responds positively to observing from sort of like a neutral, maybe not neutral, but uninvolved vantage point from a distance? You can sort of like vicariously observe this. You can observe people fighting, or one is defeating another, or otherwise just see combat. You might even see blood and injuries and things. Why is that entertaining? Encourages, probes us to contemplate. So here's my addition to that. My addition is that there is indeed something. I think we can argue about whether the word dark is the best characterization of it, but I would readily agree it's something uncivilized. At the very minimum, we could say that. There's something uncivilized that is within us that makes us respond to this. However, I do not stop at the one step further implication, or maybe it's an inference. I have to think about this. There's like an implied ideal in the idea of saying like, hey, wait, stop and think, reflect on this. Why do you find this barbaric display to be stimulating in a positive manner? There's an implied ideal that's like, well, there's something raw and crude and violent and uncivilized in you, and then the implied ideal is, and there shouldn't be, or something along those lines, or you must overcome this. That implied ideal, I challenge that's the stopping point. That's my new thing that I'm adding to this. That yes, of course, there's something uncivilized, and I don't necessarily push back on the choice of word dark. I don't necessarily push back on that. I'm not sold that it's the best all-encompassing characterization. But we know, of course, Milky had to join us for this awesome discussion because Milky's here. Anyway, so something uncivilized. And I would agree that's not something to indulge. So I would agree with any ideal around those lines. There should not be a sense of like observing this vicarious aggression display for pleasure and then intending to do more of it and more and more and more and more and more and more and more, like a downward spiral, that would be, I would agree, that's an ideal. But just to say there's something wrong with having this stimulate you because it's in you, and Probst didn't say this, by the way. I'm not saying that Probst said that. I'm just saying, if there is some ideal that in conversations like this sometimes comes up, I am not saying that Probst said this. This is my words. This idea of like, oh, there shouldn't be that uncivilizedness in you. That's the part that I challenge. It's not bad that, some kind of vicarious display of aggression brings positive response from you or positive reaction from you. That's not inherently bad. It's not like you should go sit in the corner and think about what you did. But I do agree that it is best understood as like a stepping stone past it. There's like something in you that needs to let this out, but it's not so that you can further indulge it further. In fact, it is in evidence, I would argue, that this is what human civilization does. If we look at people today, even though we could argue about what's happening in the youngest generations, because the youngest generations apparently are showing less cognitive ability than their predecessors, and that's like never happened before in recorded history. So we could apparently maybe say we have a change going on here that might be bad. But generally, the pattern has been that generations become more and more and more and more civilized with time. You're not going to find people who want to like go out, I don't know, doing raids on the neighboring town to pillage them. It's not like that just doesn't exist really in the modern world, the modern civilized world. So my point is, my argument, my suggestion, my idea is that the purpose of a society, a persistent society, is partly for conserving and sharing resources and stuff like that, and having order and stuff like that. That is let's say a primary purpose of having a society. But my assertion is another purpose of a society is like transgenerational training wheels, where, like dogs nowadays, a household dog. Dogs did not exist in nature. Dogs exist because humans domesticated them. And so now we have this species of wolf that, is really small and kind of annoying. Something like that is true for humans. Society has this domestication effect, transgenerationally, where people get more and more and more civilized over time through learned behavior. I'm not trying to say this is some kind of genetic thing. Through learned behavior, people become more and more civilized. People are more and more surrounded by civilization. It's one thing if you have good parents who raise you well, but it's another thing if you walk out of the door and everywhere you look in society, people are telling you the same thing that your parents told you in terms of like morals and such. And so that's what happens over time, transgenerationally, over thousands of years. Society takes up more and more space on Earth, and it becomes a stronger and stronger influence at domesticating people in a learned manner, not in a genetic manner. If you're wondering whether I forgot why I got on this topic, the answer is yes, that's true. Oh, because of the quote that I have from Probst. So my idea was, this idea of combat sports and fighting and football and rugby and everything, hockey, where there's mad blood all over the place. My argument is these sports, these combat sports that provide someone with vicarious aggression entertainment, those are performing a function of evolving that culture to the point that they no longer have that need in them. But again, it's actually serving that function. So I would say yes, as Probe says, you do have to ask yourself why it's entertaining. But I ask this in the spirit of knowing what to evolve through rather than some sort of shame-oriented whatever. And again, I am bringing up that narrative of evolve versus shame. That is not something Probe said. I am not putting words in his mouth. He did not say that. That's me saying that. But that's my response. I got to get caught up on the chat here. There's a lot of chat to get caught up on. Cornish says, hey man, listen, I'm not trying to do all this philosophy. Listen, I just like a nice competitive sport. There is a place for sports, and there is a space for healthy competition. And see, that's an example of what I'm talking about. Society can, an external, established, functional society can provide a functional expression for the things that make humans dangerous in solitude. Can provide a functional expression like competition, competitive sport, or competitive business, or competitive anything. Competition increases quality in the long run. Harmonic Sonic. Milky has, whoa, too much reverb. I saw a piece of saltine go flying out of my mouth over here somewhere. I don't know where it landed. It doesn't seem to have landed on the synth. Anyway, Milky has the thought-provoking nickname for harmonic sonics. Ah, look at this. Look at this insight. Probe says, speaking of transfiguring human nature into external societal expression, we've got tribal violence delegated to the nation state, which employs that sanctioned violence. Yeah, it does, and you want that. That's also not a bad thing. You want somebody who, not only somebody who could defend your borders and enforce order, but you want someone who can, like they have the ability to, they have the power to. Not only hypothetically they would, but they actually can. That's way better than not having state-sanctioned violence. Abuse of state-sanctioned violence is bad, but just having the power, that is definitely a good thing. You want that. See, Tone Smith nails it right here. This is exactly what I'm trying to work toward. Tone just perceived me 20 years from now. Tone perceived my future here. I do want to work up to just like what we're doing now. Just sort of hanging out for a while. This is 2 hours. We're over 2 hours now in this Tinker stream. We're just hanging out. We're talking about some things that are not necessarily philosophical, but also some philosophical stuff. This is dope. I would like to evolve to the point that I can freestyle rap this whole discussion. Like everything I've said on the stream so far, but I say it as freestyle rap 2 beats. That would be the dopest. Like no artist in the history of the world is ever that dope. There are rappers who could do that. I don't know why they don't. I think it might have something to do with what I was talking about earlier, how it's not about doing a performance, but rather being with the audience. Many performers get stuck in like, look at me. That's what motivates someone to be a performer often. It's like the look at me sense. Look at my performance. I worked so hard on this song. Look at me do the song well. Isn't that an impressive song? It's like, all right, can you get past that? The people who joined your stream are there because they like being there. You got to give them a good experience. And so that might be why you don't see rappers doing that. Rappers doing that. Even though there totally are. I mean, I personally know freestyle rappers who could do that. Who could just rap instead of talk. That's totally doable. My skill level's not that high with freestyle rap. By the way, for my regulars, I guess not strictly regulars for anyone, but my regulars will remember that I'm still experimenting with the idea of if you're here live in the chat and I'm doing some freestyle raps, you can put a hashtag 4rap, like number 4, capital letters rap, 4rap, and I'll include whatever you say in the freestyle rap, like when I do that. Speaking of including things when I do them, you gotta get River, who has joined us, now is included. Continuing our conversation about the idea of a state. Probe says, the idea of a nation state is outdated, or outmoded rather, in my opinion. I would take a similar attitude as I did previously, which is I don't argue your point, but I do challenge that it's the end of the discussion. So I would say maybe a nation states are incomplete, inadequate, but I don't think they're flawed to the point that they need to be destroyed. But there is room to further innovate something greater. That I agree with. And frankly, it's going to involve some kind of internet, interconnected, one world thing. There's going to be something along those lines. That is what's beyond the idea of nation state, and that's what's coming. I mean, technically it's already here, but in the eyes of the average layperson, it's coming. Probably another couple of decades before that's fully implemented. People are like, oh no, the one world order, there's going to be the secret cabal who's in some back room deciding. It's like, no. Yes, there is going to be a one world order, but it's not going to be because of some, 5 people who are infinitely brilliant, and it's like, that is not what's happening. That's not what's happening. But it is tending toward a one world order. And not because of nefarious, evil, bad players, but because that's inevitable. That's inevitable from a resource restraint perspective. There must be a one world order. There's no, unless all of human society just collapses. That's the other alternative. Either everything ends, or we get a one world order. There is no third option. Eventually, not tomorrow. On the scale of centuries, let's say. Though it probably won't even be centuries at this point. my favorite kind of tinker streams. We got the mad hangout, variety of topics we're talking about. I personally like the philosophical stuff. It wasn't just philosophical stuff. What a jam-packed tinker stream this was. This is awesome. This worked out so well. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being part of this. Whether you're here with us live in the chat, directly influencing the conversation in the most potent manner, the most immediately potent manner, or you're joining us live but not in the chat, or you're joining us after the stream, I feel you. I know you're there. I know you're here with us. You're influencing this. Thank you for being here and making this better. It's so much better with you here. Friends, the time has come for our closing cheers. I have got my drink here. I'm going to lead us in our ritualistic celebration of our togetherness. You are invited to cheers along with the rest of us. Friends, it comes so fast on 1, 2, and 3. Clink. Cheers, my friends. That is good. That was really good. I can feel it in my body. It's good. Good feelings. It feels good. It's good. I like goodness. Please like this video. Please subscribe. Please share this video where it will be well received. I hope to see you again in the next live stream. My regulars know. We do these very exciting and fun live looping synth sessions here at your favorite online hangout, the thoughtful place. When we talk like we did today, that's called tinker time. Sometimes there's no talking at all. It's just the looping and the synth. That's called unspoken. Perfect for your instrumental needs. And my regulars know that we do this multiple times a week at the top of the screen right now. Those are the 2 scheduled weekly streams. You can put those in your calendar. Eastern U.S. time zone every Sunday at 1 p.m. Every Tuesday at 9 p.m. Join us. Put those in your calendar. And my regulars know that we get together more than just that. We do more than just those 2 every week. Usually another 2 or 3 streams every week. Could be any day, anytime. Enable notifications now so that you can join us for those unscheduled streams. Be sure to check out in the live chat right now, pinned, I have the video playlist of my music videos. That's a good one to check out, whether you're already familiar with them or whether you're just discovering them. And until I see you again, my friends, until the next live stream, please, 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 please allow the rest of your day to bring you all manner of goodness and blessing. Today, please allow yourself to become receptive. Today, please allow yourself to receive goodness and blessing. Today, please receive healing, the likes of which you never imagined were even possible. Please receive that healing. Please be regenerated today, and I will see you in the next Reconsidering live